Garden Report is brought to you by Prize Picks and the Game Time app.
Hey, Buddy Manning here. Welcome to the Garden Report. Celtics blow the Clippers away and win their sixth straight, and Kristaps Porzingis' return. Noah Dalzell here, and we talked about this morning. We both figured he wouldn't miss a beat. Missed a couple threes early. Took a second to get back into rhythm, and then didn't go into the post until later in this game. But the rim protection immediate. Clippers shoot 9 for 22 in the first half around the rim by my count. And his alley-oop, a big moment. A couple blocks, a steal, and after the game, pretty much saying he's back. No restrictions, no expected time missed beyond these back-to-back managements, and with 22 minutes and a blowout here, we pretty much saw the full Porzingis effect. Here he is talking about it after the game.
Yeah, it felt great. Obviously, was a pretty, not super long, but it was a long rehab, and I was itching to get back out there with this team after winning a championship, and yeah, it was a good beginning, good first game back.
Can you explain the process of the last few weeks of getting back to this point and when you knew you were ready?
Yeah, honestly, I started to feel pretty good, I would say almost a month ago, I would say the whole rehab I was ahead of it all the time. I was itching to do more, start more, sprints, this, contact, one-on-one. So I was always like asking the medical staff to do more. But I was still smart, and we completed all the stages to get to this point. And I told them, once I'm, if you guys give me the green light and I can start playing, there's, I want to do it as soon as possible. So, that was it. And got here maybe even a month early, and it's good to be back out there.
So that shocked me. Not the performance, not him looking pretty close to himself, but the fact that there was no real restriction, no management expected beyond this, and he's pretty much back in full at this point. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I think it matches up with everything that we've seen. Like, he has looked ready for a really long time now. And I think that it stood out is he said this wasn't that difficult of a rehab. Like, he's been through ACL tears. He's been through serious stuff.
That was something, too.
And I think that he did his surgery. He had to be off his foot for 6 weeks. And then he was walking around and he was like, I feel pretty good. And I don't feel that far away from impacting basketball games. And tonight, like you said, we got the full Porzingis experience. We've talked so much about rim protection over these past few weeks. And seeing it in action was like, it felt like just poetic. Not just the fact that he got the 2 blocks and that as a whole, I think the Celtics defense was better today than we've seen, obviously held the Clippers to 94 points, but just the way that he's deterring shots at the rim, the way he's altering shots at the rim, like it was right off the bat from the first play of the game, it was obvious that he was changing the complexion of this team and this defense. And I think he's going to be good to go. The thing you're worried about is, can he stay healthy? But I think this injury is a story of the past. I don't think it's going to impact him again in the future. He looked 100% to me, honestly. He said he had some flat legs, but he looked 100% as far as his mobility and his confidence.
Yeah, and we're going to see him with Al Horford eventually. There's 2 back-to-backs over the next week, so he'll miss some time here in certain situations. But when they're full, there's definitely some exciting possibilities. They love double big. We've talked about Horford and Porzingis as the double big you actually want to see. But the way they stagger Kata and Porzingis in this game, you got some great stuff from both of them, especially since you were going to need a little more Kata with Porzingis being limited to whatever degree he was there. He was awesome too. And I feel like they played him in the same role that they did Porzingis, some high post creation. Yeah. Some roaming defensively. He blocked 4 shots in this one, Kata did. And I actually like the idea of maybe seeing those two together eventually. And talk about rim protection. Those two together would give you endless rim protection out there. So they're shored up at the center position now. Of course, we'll see whether Porzingis can stay healthy otherwise, but there doesn't seem to be any concern coming back from this of re-injury or any long-term concerns about having suffered that injury. He's just back, and this team's going to be pretty dominant if they can keep themselves healthy from this point on.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think besides for the fact that he can space the floor, which we didn't see that really translate today, but the defensive end we talked about, there's just an emotional lift that he provides this team. He gets Jalen going. Jalen talked about post-game. He hasn't really had any backdoor cuts this season. He said normally I would get a few of those. Kristaps immediately checks in and looks to find him. And I think Jalen knows when he's out there with KP that KP's looking for him, and it maybe makes him have to force the issue a little bit less too. So those two guys play off each other really, really well. There's the connection with the fan base just being here at TD Garden. You could feel how excited people were to have him back. First play of the game, he's the first guy to hit a shot. He just brings another element of life and charisma to this team that I don't want to say that they were lacking, because they were doing great and they were blowing teams out, beating teams, and all of last year in the playoffs, he really wasn't a big factor here, but he just gives them something, an extra component that they just don't have. And you could really feel it being here, just how much he does on that front too.
Yeah, and they're unstoppable when they have everybody rolling, plus him playing at his highest level. And there's a pretty good Clippers team coming in. I didn't expect Norman Powell to be out.
Yeah.
Guess he's missed some time here, and Harden was just Harden. So they didn't have a ton to throw at the Celtics offensively, but the Celtics torched their defense, and they're pretty good defense. Zubac,
Yeah, they've been solid this year.
a solid center to go up against right away. He posted Porzingis up on the first play, so they saw some resistance in this game. They handled a third quarter run. Kata, Pritchard coming in. We'll talk about Pritchard later, but overall, they handled a pretty good team here today, and Porzingis in a difficult matchup against Zubac played well. Mazzulla after the game talking about how they can be more versatile now, how they just have different possibilities with Porzingis back, and that's the most exciting thing here. And he's back in full, no limitations tonight, no management going forward, so the Celtics are almost full. Horford will be back later this week against Chicago. Luke Cornett, I'm sure, isn't going to be out for too long here. He missed tonight's game with the hamstring thing again, but stellar performances from Porzingis in his return, and Nemesh Queta backing him up here. Celtics blow the Clippers away. Get a couple days off now through Thanksgiving. We are brought to you by Prize Picks. Go over there and use the code CLNS for a bonus. We've got plenty of great Thanksgiving games coming up later this week, and a free Tyreek Hill square available to you now. 0.5 receiving yards. Go get that now and get half of your team an automatic win in your fantasy lineup there. So code CLNS. Go get that free Tyreek Hill square over there, plus a $50 bonus. And game time, Celtics won't be back here till Monday, but if you're in Chicago or Cleveland on Sunday, one of those road games, we've seen a lot of Celtics fans on the road, go over there, use the code CLNS, get $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply, and check out Nutrafol right now. Great gift for the holidays this week. Go over there and get $10 off your first month subscription, as well as free shipping right now at Nutrafol.com/garden, or promo code GARDENGIFT. For Noah Dalzell, I'm Bobby Mann, and Kristaps Porzingis returns in a big way here. Surprise! We did a full show on it this morning, and plenty of post-game reaction to him. Go check that out at CLNS Media and Celtics All Access. And check out our next video here on Celtics All Access about Peyton Pritchard.